100 miles seems impossible until it's not. I'm putting a crew together and I think you'd be a great fit. You're a runner, a nutritionist, and a little bit crazy like me. By the way, I also need a pacer to run 20 plus miles with me. Let me know if you're in. And as you guys know, I'm always in for a challenge. The problem, at that point I have never run more than a marathon, which I had done during my Ironman in 2023. Now I was supposed to help pace a guy doing a 100 miles race. As usual, I didn't overthink about it. I love experience, I love challenge, and I'm training for the last man standing this year. So I called him back and I said, let's do it. And don't even call me unless you need me for at least 20 miles. So enough, I was in Chicago in the middle of nowhere with two strangers I have never met before, preparing to help this man run 100 miles over 24 hours. We arrived Thursday, and for the first time, I met the other crew member, Kendall, and our first thought as we looked at each other was running. And that night, we did a 5-mile shakeout run to explore the area.
How are you feeling?
Feeling great.
We stocked up with food and went to bed early. On Friday, we spent the day exploring the city a little more, trying to understand the course, looking for supplies, multiple carb sources, bananas, potatoes, energy gels, electrolyte drinks, soda intake solutions like hydration tabs, pretzels, salt broth, emergency snacks. Yes, I'm always concerned about food, like protein bars, caffeine, sugar, and even prosciutto. The next day, we woke up very early, and surprisingly, we got there on time.
Running 100 miles, it's a distance up until a few years ago I never thought of doing before. It's a nice number to test my physical limits.
And the race started pretty fast. Ash was kind of late, distracted, talking to us and getting interviewed by journalists. First, we had in mind to achieve sub 20 hours. Realistically, we think 24 hours would be the main goal to be finished.
We are out here, Iowa, the first aid station 3, which is the first aid station that we can help him. We're talking about a sub 2 hours half marathon in a trail for a 100 miles race. This is like crazy speed here.
You have it there?
Hold on, trash.
What do you have?
Trash.
Okay.
From the start, things didn't go as planned. As I said, Ash almost missed at the start. He pushed it too hard in the first half marathon. I was even impressed when I saw that he finished below 2 hours for a half marathon when running 100 miles. His feet were already wrecked.
He's looking good, feeling good. We're excited.
With, you don't need a nutritionist to run a 100 miles race. It's literally the nutritionist making math and calculating how much sodium, water, and food he should be stacking with. You can ask Ash.
My nutritionist, Mauricio over here, he's been preparing meals with heavy on carbs.
So each stop we got smarter. I spent the entire day pretty much just carb loading from gas stations. I was grabbing cup noodles, Cheetos, Gatorades, fruits, and pretty much what I could find through the process of Ash running between aid stations. Each aid station was an average of 5 to 8 miles between each of them. Pacers weren't allowed before mile 50, and I was very concerned that maybe by mile 50 he would ask me to go. At that moment, he looked at me and he said, I want your help now. So I was about to run 20 to 40 miles in the dark with absolutely no preparation. So I started at mile 55. I understood when Ash was looking at me at that point, he was looking for something we call the buddy effect. Why pacing matters. The buddy effect is pretty much having a friend to run with you, and that motivates you to run faster, better, more focused. There is actually scientific studies that help you understand the buddy effect and understand that running alone feels harder than running with a partner. And the longest night of my life just started.
I put my body into that mode. It basically washes away all of any other life's problems. You have to be completely present.
We did about 5 to 6 miles first, and I took the decision to stop right there and continue running later on the next aid station with him. As we drive to the next station, Ash is actually not there, and we are concerned to the fact that maybe we're late, and he was coming right behind a couple people in a very much slower pace than we were doing.
I have done 9 miles waiting for Ash, and we're probably gonna do fresh, 20, 30 more. I don't know what's gonna happen. The dark is gonna be crazy, but we're gonna have dinner. That's the most important part. Cooking some cup noodles here, salt, carbs. Let's make it happen.
There we go. Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, right there.
Oh, did your light go out?
At that point, Ash looked at me. We can definitely see that he's fatigued and stressed. And he tells me, hey, I cannot do this without you. This was the worst 5 miles of the entire race. I hate it. I need you. At mile 82, things got bad. The temperature started dropping and we just started feeling the exhaustion, the lack of proper food and rest and everything else. We were running pretty much in the dark with no one else. There's not a single light, and the only lights we could see are those on the top of our heads. We were getting a little bit concerned. We kind of memorized which aid stations we could stop by and which aid stations we could not stop by with crew. When we got there, that was actually an aid station that Kendall was not allowed. We got a little bit in panic. It was the middle of the night. We were exhausted. We were counting to use stuff for Ash's feet, which was getting worse. And Ash looked at me and I could see in his eyes like he was done by mile 86. And we just called Kendall and said, meet us at mile 88. We need emergency supplies. We cannot wait more. So for the first time, I understood why people sleep doing ultras. I always judged and asked myself, why would you go for a 24 hours race and just, like take a 15-minute nap? That probably doesn't do anything. As we get in the car, both of us just passed out for 15 minutes. He told me, everything hurts, I just want to walk. As we walk for pretty much what would be one of the very last aid stations, we get there, he's extremely exhausted and I tried to chase some caffeine to give him some extra energy. At that point, I was just looking for the sunrise, which pretty much was a couple hours away. So after that last aid station, we pretty much have 10 miles left. Those, I can say, were the most long miles of our entire lives. So as we get to that very last aid station, we were disbelief of the 96 miles that we have done. In this case, 36 for me.
We're the last 2 miles here. You wanna say something?
2 miles.
Do you wanna update us for the 10th time how long it's gonna take?
At this pace we're currently walking, it's gonna take us like 2 hours.
Okay.
But if we walk at a decent pace, maybe 40 minutes.
As the very last mile came, he said, let's make sure we look good for the picture. And we both got interviewed by the journalist.
And at long last, ultra runners in the Hennepin 100 can get off their feet.
We're about 28 hours into the race.
It's not 24 hours, but Ash Slaughter and his trainer Mauricio will take it.
Yeah, we were always going to finish it.
No matter what.
Slaughter maintained a blistering 11-minute per mile pace for the first 32. Fatigue began to set in around the halfway mark, and that's when his trainer decided to step in.
He's never run 40 miles before. But there was one point, he left me for one time. I was like, Mauricio, you're never leaving me again.
This was one of the hardest things I ever done. Not just the running itself, but the whole trip. But in the end, the real question is, what is 100 miles? And are you ready to face it?